and you know, she's all pumped up. You know, she wants to change her number to Steph Curry's number, I think. But it's already taken, so I don't know. But other than that, no, not much is going on. We set a record today on our three-point shooting drill because we got a lousy shooter on the sidelines, so she wasn't involved in the drill. And we set the all-time program record for most made threes. So some benefits are coming out of it. But yeah, the start lineup be a little bit different tomorrow. You know, it'll be different. I'm glad that I think I was right, because I think I said that, you know, for Paige it was going to be kind of similar to what the scenario for AZ was, you know. And it turned out to be pretty much the exact same thing, you know. You saw it, everybody saw it on video, you know, that the way the kid landed on it funny. And so it's a sprain, there's nothing torn, there's nothing crazy about it.
The knee sprain or ankle too?
Well, the ankle's fine. The ankle's fine. I think the politically correct thing to say, according to our crack SID, is lower body sprain. If anybody can't see through that, then they're not paying attention. But no, her ankle's fine. Her ankle's fine. I mean, it's sore. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, her knee got twisted a certain way, her ankle got twisted a certain way. It was just an awkward thing. But we're hoping that we have her back in a week.
With everything she's gone through, what goes through your mind when you see her on the ground like that?
The worst. And that's kind of like with everybody. You get, you know, you get shell-shocked. I think everybody, you know, whenever any of our players, something happens that looks a little bit awkward, that looks a little bit out of the ordinary, the immediate response is, I hope it's not what it looks like, and, you know, knock on wood.
You viewed the play as just kind of a happenstance of basketball. I think you called it a basketball play.
Yeah, I mean, you know, God bless them. I mean, you can't explain it sometimes. You know, one kid's trying to get the ball, the other kid wants the ball. One kid dives to go get the ball, the other one's already. It just sometimes if you would. But it's in the heat of the moment. So if you look back at it, and you probably watched the video, you would go, who had the best access to that ball? But kids are kids, you know, and they want to win and they want to play hard, and so I from what I could see, I didn't see anything other than a basketball play.
How did Paige react to that it wasn't worst case scenario?
Oh, I mean, obviously you can imagine, you know, I think she pissed more than anything about having to miss any time at all. And the thing that happens, I think, to a lot of athletes is when they've been through something in the past, is the fear of, do I have to go through something again? That's the initial reaction right away. Then once that's alleviated, then, you know, she's great. I mean, I spent a lot of time talking with her yesterday and today, and no, she's great. She's great.
Did she have an
She's in
MRI?
great spirits.
MRI yesterday?
No MRI was needed. Nope.
She wasn't driving you crazy already from the sideline?
No. We banned her from practice. So she was in the training room, and then she was looking in through the window, and that was it. I was like, for me, it was like Christmas Day, you know? Like, everybody nodded their head yes when I said something. Nobody rolled their eyes. You know, nobody, you know, had their own team huddle and told the guys what to do. That was quite different than what I said. she does things that get on my nerves, because she knows it bugs me. So I didn't have to deal with that today.
I remember you said a few years ago that in an effort to protect her, you joked, maybe I'll become get the most technical fouls of any
Oh, yeah.
coach in the country.
Yeah.
Obviously, you haven't been teed up at
No.
all or often, but
No.
How do you view that and like the way her
Yeah.
game's called and
I think she's officiated different than other people, but I could say that, and probably if I studied frame by frame every film, I would probably say the officials are not as wrong as we think they are. I don't know that she gets the benefit of the doubt like stars are supposed to get, and then you say, well, are stars supposed to get the benefit of the doubt? Shouldn't they be treated like every other kid? But there was a play at the end of the quarter, end of the half, where she was going up for a jump shot, and the ball moved in her hand. So either somebody slapped her or they got a piece of the ball. So, yeah, stuff happens to her, and it's making her stronger.
With KK playing so well off the bench, do you keep her coming off the bench and just put Ash back into the starting lineup?
That's the easiest thing to do, yeah. That doesn't change. You don't have to totally reinvent yourself. So yeah, that's the easy thing. Yeah.
Gino, I think you said a couple of weeks ago you wondered what you would look like without Paige in there. So
I meant like if I didn't play her for a quarter or something,
Right.
what it would look like. I didn't necessarily. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because that was one of the comments she made yesterday. She's like, hey, it's not the end of the world, like some other guys are going to have to get an opportunity to step up and do some things. We talked about that in practice today, that in these scenarios, the worst thing that you can do is have four kids think, well, I got to be Paige today. Well, I got to take over her role. And that's the worst thing that can happen, So everybody just has to do their thing. This is what they do, and this is what, and the game is the game, and we'll figure out a way to function, and then we'll readjust when she comes back. It's like we're in a constant state of making adjustments and readjustments, and yeah. Yeah.
You have such a young team. When she's not out there, who's your leader on the court?
Well, I don't even know that. Paige has an interesting leadership style. She knows what she is, and she knows what she does, and she knows her strengths. She doesn't acknowledge her weaknesses, which is typical of really, really good players. And she just expects everybody else to be the same way, put the same amount of work in, have the same passion for the game, and do all that, And, she's evolving into the kind of leader that, you have to have that, like, okay, well, you have to recognize you're different, that you're exceptional in so many areas where these other kids are not, and you need to elevate them, So, she's gotten really, really good at that. So not having her, then what are you going to do? And I think Caitlin, even before this the other day, Caitlin's voice has become one of the loudest voices on our team. So that's a good thing. And as you said, KK's playing much better, much more aggressive, much more confident. So there won't be a lack of voices out there.
How have you seen? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go.
How have you seen this younger group kind of react, knowing that they don't have to be Paige, but it is still a next man up mentality?
Yeah, that's it. That's about it. That's the best way you can explain it. Is I think the fun thing, the unique thing is kids all go to college when they're freshmen. They think they're just going to pick up right where they left off their senior year in high school, And then they realize, oh man, this is going to be really hard. I'm going to have to really work my butt off. I'm going to have to learn a lot, fit in. you know, other people all over the country, freshmen are here, you know, you should be playing more, you're not getting enough touches, you're not getting it, blah, 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 blah. Then when you go, hey, listen, you're going to play 25 minutes or something, and we really need you to kind of fill the void that Paige is there, you got, I'm not sure that that's what I was talking about. So the reality is, you know, most of these kids when they're freshmen, you know, Sarah's a little bit different, you know, that's a different subject altogether. But most of these kids, you know, they want to be in that situation, but it's also nerve-wracking for them too, because this is UConn, and now you're going to have to play at a level that means you're not a freshman, you know. So I'm excited for them, and our sophomores, you know, they were thrown into it last year, so they already know what this is all about, you know. They've been there already. So, you know, whether it's just tomorrow, or whether it's tomorrow and Saturday, or whether it's tomorrow and next Wednesday, Saturday and Wednesday, you know, we'll figure it out. That's what we do.
Gina, would you like Caitlin to look to score more, Paige,
You know,
regardless, or?
Yeah, it's interesting because at the beginning of the season, in our first, you know, month of practice and in the games, there was a much more aggressiveness in her and looking to score. And I think sometimes kids like her, like that was her role at Princeton, right? My team expects me to score. And then coming here, you stay with that. And then maybe it gets in your head, well, I also got these other guys that I should probably be passing it to because they're really, really good. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's got to be all or one, you know, all or nothing. You know, so there's got to be a balance there between the two. And right now, I think she's a little overly preoccupied with trying to get other people's shots. And yeah, we need her to be more like she was, you know, earlier in the season and the way she was last year, you know, at Princeton.
Because this is kind of why, in a way, why she's here,
Yeah.
because you wanted that veteran presence.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I asked, that's a question I ask all of our players, all of our new guys, and even some of the guys that have been here, because they forget sometimes. You know, why did we bring you here? Because you could do A, B, C, and D. Now, if you come here, why would you go, well, I'm not sure what I should do? Well, do exactly what we recruited you for. So once they, you know, kind of don't go, you know, it's like the pendulum, right? They come here, they want to be like this, then they realize, well, I also want to be like that, and it's got to settle in the middle. That's where I want it to be with her.
No way the men win the other night without Paige Mahaney and Terrace Reed, as they're trying to figure out,
Yeah.
do I, don't I? I think Caitlin's kind of had that same path.
Yeah, I think that's the thing now in today's world. You know, you're bringing in new players, but they're not all of them young players. You know, a lot of them have the experience of playing somewhere else. And sometimes players that come in think I'm coming there to fill a role. And then all of a sudden their role is, we need you to win. And that's not always an easy thing. But that's the difference between winning and losing, how well they can adapt, you know. And yeah, and I bet you if you look at any team, and especially the guys' team, you look at the way those guys are playing now as opposed to the way they were playing a month or so ago, it's a different vibe, right?
Where have you seen Jana progress, and you know, how much more does she have to go that you really expect out of her this year?
How much has she progressed?
Yeah.
Like I-95 between New Haven and Greenwich, you know? So yeah, she's moving in slow motion right now in terms of how much more she has in her. And little by little, it's getting better. She's very much all over the place. It's a good way to put it. And so we're trying to kind of rein her in a little bit. I'm letting her play more through some of the stuff that generally drives me crazy, you know. And I think the more that happens, the more confident and the more comfortable she's going to get. Sometimes it's unfair to her to put her out there where she's got to guard a 6-foot kid who's a perimeter player, and that makes it tough. So we'll adjust and we'll figure out ways to make her feel comfortable out there in those situations. But there's a lot that she's going to do that she's not there yet. But little by little, it'll come. I think and I've seen it in practice too. I think Sarah helps her a lot because there's so much that she does that draws, you know, and she'll find, you know, a lot. And so I think those two can play really well off each other, and it's going to get better.
For Jana, is it mental and confidence, or is it more so just like she hasn't played basketball in a while?
Yeah,
hasn't played
a
at
lot
this
of that.
level?
Hasn't played. Completely different game than what she's used to, where she comes from. So lack of experience, anxious to play, in a hurry. She makes things that are easy sometimes look really, really hard, you know. So we're kind of chipping away at all that little by little. Like the other day was a perfect example, the first possession of the game. You know, I said, look, last I checked, going over, it doesn't have Olajuwon. You don't have to catch it and hurry up and throw it up there because it might get blocked. You know, you got plenty of time. Catch it, turn around, lay the damn thing in there. So it's like that, the rush, the hurry is what's, you know, getting in her way right now. So as the game slows down for her, you know, I can get every rebound. I know, but you can't jump over two people's back to go get it. That's kind of frowned upon in this country. You know? Believe me. I asked the scores table one time how to say something that I wanted to say in Arabic, because I don't think she understands it in English. At least she doesn't look at me like she understands English.
How much does the absence of Paige impact what you need from Sarah? Do you feel like she has to kind of do anything different, or is it just kind of keep up what she's been doing?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful with that, you know. Matter of fact, I said to Jamel today, I said, hey, look, I'm going to have to talk to Sarah. She's going to have to step it up a little bit. And Jamel's like, yeah, we need more than 20, 10, 5, and 3. Like, realistically, how much, you know. So, yeah, I don't want her to do anything different than what she's doing. The only thing I would say is, you know, just take advantage of all the opportunities that you get. I mean, man, I've coached some great players, and I'm lucky 90% of them have been incredibly unselfish, and she's just one of those that I don't think she likes the attention of being that guy that gets all the attention. So I think she tries to spread it around. But if you notice, if we go on a scoring slump every once in a while, she'll knock in a 3. Or she'll make a play with them, like when we need a basket. So it's like, I'll hang around, and if you need me, let me know. But otherwise, you know, I'm just going to kind of like, you know, do my thing.
What's the timeline on Aubrey? Is it still end of the month, you think, or was she making any progress?
You know, I told you guys a while back that it was going to be January 1st, and like everything else that I tell you guys, it was a big lie. But, you know, Aubrey was hopeful that she would feel, you know, like 100% ready to go, which she never will be, you know, coming off of all that stuff. So we're just waiting, and whatever the timetable is, she practices more and more every day. You know, she does extra stuff, she plays pickup, you know. So little by little, you know, I see spurts, you know, glimpses of what she used to be, and so it makes everybody kind of like, wow, you know, I hope it's sooner rather than later.
What about Gino on the Paige timeline, whether it's 1, 2, 3 games? What's the equation in like when she comes back? Doctor mostly? Is it
No,
Paige?
I think no, I'm not a doctor, but I think in all these things, it's There is a timeline, you know, but the timeline depends on how you handle your business. You know, how hard are you rehabbing? How fast does your body heal? How quickly do you feel mentally comfortable that I can run, I can cut, I can do the things that I want to do? And that's different for everybody. So, you know, I think there'll be a day sooner, I think, rather than later, where she goes, I'm playing, and that's all there is to it.
So just her hoping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But at the same time, the other night at Villanova, she goes, I'm fine. Just give me a day. Yeah, all right. You guys don't believe me when I tell you she's delusional. She said, yeah, just give me a day. I'll be fine. If you only knew, man, if you only knew. I get paid a lot of money, but not that much.
Has something clicked with KK that's resulted in the better play of late? I mean, did she just accept her role, or did she just get more confident? Or
I don't think it's accepting or not accepting her role. I think her role was the same as it was last year. And it's just, you're going to have to wait a couple minutes before you do it. So the role is not that much different. The things that you get at practice, the confidence that you get at practice, eventually starts to carry over into games. The big thing with players today, I think, is they either have an inflated view of their confidence, which is not real, or they don't have enough confidence, and one little thing that goes wrong, they go, oh God, and they get into their own head sometimes. And then once it's clear, and once they're thinking clearly and they're fine, then they can revert back to who they really are. I just think sometimes they overthink it. Just because you made your last 10 threes, what are you going to do when you miss your next 10? Well, if you get all whacked out, then you'll never have an opportunity to make 10 more. So it's keeping that balance with these guys. And she's in a really good place right now. We'll see how long it lasts. I mean, I'm in a good place sometimes too.
You watch her play, she goes from point A to point B as quickly as any player you probably have in a while.
Yeah.
Is she better at that this year? Does she have a better idea of how to use that speed to help her and her teammates?
Yeah, she goes from A to B as fast as anybody, for sure. It's now understanding what happens when I get to B, and that is the growth that guards have to make, And I keep referring to a lot of those guys as race car drivers, A lot of these guys, they have one speed, and that's not how you play the game. So my thing with KK since she was in high school was, if I don't see the other team making a scouting report adjustment because of what you're going to do to their offense, then you're not being effective. So that's where it all starts with her. You've got to make sure that the other team is more worried about you than they are about anything else. And once you get that, then the other stuff will just fall into place. And that, we've kind of adjusted to that too, because now when you have more guards, we've picked up more full court. We've tried to be more active, and that stuff. But that's where it all starts. And when she's not doing those things, then she's not as effective on the offensive end either.
Do you think that Caroline still has a chance to play this year? And is there a point where it makes sense to look more towards a red shirt?
No, I don't think there is. Knowing Caroline, if March 1st she goes, I'm good to go, she'll want to play in the Big East tournament and the NCAA tournament. Caroline just loves to play. But I also know Caroline, and I know that if you told her maybe you take a redshirt year, she goes, really? I don't want to be as old as Coach Ariema and still be going to school here. At some point, it's time to... She was 22 when she was a freshman. I think she got redshirted 4 times in middle school and high school. So there's only so much time that you can be here. But she just wants to play so much. And I would tell you, if you asked our players who's the best teammate on the team right now, they would tell you Caroline. She's just been unbelievable. I just, for a kid who's not playing, I mean, she is a perfect role model, a perfect example of what true selfless leadership really is. I can't play, but I'm going to help all you guys be better. Just the way she talks to them, the way she interacts with them. She's just been absolutely phenomenal. I'm so proud of her. And she still can shoot the lights out. All right, boys and girls. I don't know who you got next, but hopefully it'll make sense. Bratislava, we played there. Bratislava. We actually did on our European tour.
Yeah, once they give me a tripod, then I'll do that. I'm not about the.
Yeah, that might be because of
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not gonna.